Hey, welcome back to another episode of Talkin' Shit ATL with your host Amanda Ellenberg
and I'm Prodigy Q.
And we have Teddy here today.
Yes, back little with
cutie.
us. Few week hiatus, special guests, the whole 9 yards.
He is just chilling.
It definitely is, but I don't think he really missed us that much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
No. And I think he was here the last episode. I can't remember which episode he was in anymore, honestly.
Yeah, right. Gotta be in and out, replacement people, tables, all kind of things.
Did you miss him? Did you see him last week? Who knows? Tell us.
Did you see us?
But yeah, I do want to start with I haven't told you this yet, but and this is, you can cut it if you want because this is revealing a little bit of our process. But I recently listened to the last episode that we've sent out, and I know that during that episode I talked shit about your hands, but I couldn't hear your hands, and then I heard me messing with shit.
I know it. I knew you couldn't. And I was gonna say, why don't she listen to this? I'm gonna let her have it. I'm gonna put my hands. I had to put my hands under the blanket and all.
I'm sorry, because I was sitting there talking shit, and then I was the one that ended up messing up the sound.
Yeah. Nope. I'm keeping all of this in.
Mm-hmm. But I did not hear you a couple times. So
yes.
I'll say that.
Right, which is cool, right? So I guess, right. Because otherwise, you're right. I probably would have, right? So.
But I was listening to it and I was like, damn, okay,
but it's all good.
I gotta say something.
It's all the importance of us, like, policing each other, just making sure. And the goal, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta bring it all around, right? You know what I'm saying? Because we just want to give you guys the best experience possible, you know?
We really do. We really, like, I know y'all don't see the behind the scenes, but we work really hard to try to think of all these things to talk about and like ways that we can help the community through what we're doing and things that interest us, things that we think will interest you. So if there's a certain subject you want to talk about, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. I know we've said it, we're going to say it again.
Keep saying it, right.
But we really do want to hear from you. So like, subscribe, comment, all those things. Follow, you know.
And the numbers have been going up continuously. Subscribers, like I said, you know, from past episodes, you know, we definitely said we always pay attention. We always like to, you know, highlight when we get new subscribers, new followers, you know, and you guys have definitely, you know, not let us down in doing so. And so as continuously doing what we do to continue to see more engagement is definitely going to be, you know, our goal moving forward.
Yeah, and a lot of newbies have come along, so welcome. If you're new, and if you've been here for a while, thank you so much. Y'all are the OGs.
Yes, I love y'all.
And I was trying to think of, like, names. I know we're not there yet, but, like, names to, like, call our fans. I was thinking about all these different names, like, I was thinking the Shitters, the Talkies, oh, God, what was the other one that I really liked and I thought of,
I like the Shitters.
Oh, man. I like the Shitters, too. I think it's funny. But I don't know. Do y'all like it? There's another one that I was like, yeah, that's it. But, ATL H0ES.
Oh, ATL H0ES, yeah.
But then I was like, is that going to be like, people not from Atlanta are going to feel excluded or what? But y'all ATL H0ES, no.
Right. Or people from Atlanta be like, they're not from here, because they already have that mindset, like, you know, certain parts of Atlanta not being a part of Atlanta, even though we all claim it as Atlanta. But people don't know, like, the other everything outside the perimeter, right?
Right.
Still considered
within
Atlanta.
285.
Right.
Yeah. And I think if you grew up in Atlanta, like whether you were in the city or not, if you took field trips to the city, you're from Atlanta.
Yeah,
like you're close enough that the bus and the school will approve it. You're from Atlanta. Okay.
Right.
But anybody from the actual city is like, bitch,
right? No,
right.
No, it's not the case. That's not the case.
You're from the suburbs.
Right.
But, okay.
Make sure I let you know. I'm really not from here, but I claim it hard, though. I claim it hard.
Yeah.
I do it. I love it. I love it here.
In a past life, you probably lived in Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure. And Yeah, because I forgot what I was going to say too. So maybe it might come back.
Yeah.
In sentiments to like our housekeeping things. It might come back because I did have a good point of something.
Yeah.
So sorry, y'all. It's gonna come back.
It's okay because I'm gonna point out this thing and then we'll go to the subject. In honor of giving you a little bit of behind the scenes, just so you know, because there's no way to tell you. I'm really glad we have 2 ways of recording sound right now because mine cut out.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Nice.
And it just started again. So.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna make notice to this, guys, because we do be, as always, as much as we try to, make sure everything's kind of perfect. Things are always happening that we don't expect or, out of our control. Because it was me editing, the video that we, put out or last week's episode. Not last week's episode, but a few weeks ago, where I was watching it, and for some reason, which has never happened before, but the camera decided it wanted to like autofocus in and out.
What?
Yeah, like in and out while we were, So, which of course I didn't catch that until edited through and watching it, but. So so YouTube watchers, who see that episode definitely probably was like, why they keep going in and out and keep getting blurry.
And anybody that saw my TikTok was like, what happened there? I messaged Q and was like, I don't know why the fuck this is blurry. I can't change it and it looks horrible. Right. So I just put something in the like caption. And one of my friends was like, why does this look so blurry? I was like, bitch, you obviously didn't read the caption because I'm trying to find people that can help me. Because we don't know. Like, I have no idea why it all changes.
Yes,
once you're editing.
Yes, because as we're saying this, your sound went out, my sound went out.
Oh no! But your sound was going during mine.
Yeah. So
you gonna have a fun time editing this.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So now you guys get live action of what be happening that you guys don't see, and all the things that just go left. And for sure, because we keep it on this. I love this.
Yeah. You'll just be along for the ride.
Right, because I want you to see, look.
And who knows how long this episode will be, because we have no clear count of the time.
So if we go a little longer this week,
Yeah, bear with us.
Bear with us, y'all. It's like you said, all the things you still don't plan that always kind of happens,
Yes.
So we just have to, continuously find our way to maneuver through the things that may continue to happen, because I swear it's always going to be something.
Right. It really is. It's crazy. It's like, I didn't know how much I didn't know technology until this.
Yeah. And I have a very low patience for technology. Patience with my technology it's super thin. It's like, as soon as you're not doing what you're designed and created for one purpose only.
Yeah.
Do it,
Right. Get it together. Yeah, I actually did some stand up, and my whole part of my routine was technology, and fucking Siri crapped out on me. So now I've been talking to her all nice. I've been like, "You're amazing, great job, thank you." So because I'm usually like, "Bitch, what the fuck? Why are you so dumb?" Right. And so hopefully she'll help me out the next time.
Yeah.
And it won't crash and burn. Because we rehearsed this. I was rehearsing with her, and she was doing great. And then it came for the show.
Yeah.
And she crapped out. Q saw it.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. Even though the set and everything was good, but Sid dropped the ball on the punchline. Like,
she was the punchline.
She was the punchline.
It made it like, how do I recover?
Yeah, she was.
Oh my god.
I think Sid maybe Sid just had a little stage fright.
I guess.
Maybe that's what it was.
I think she wanted revenge.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was April 1st, so maybe she was playing an April Fool's joke on me.
It was, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She knew.
She knew.
Yeah.
Oh, because listen, but she got her good, though.
She got it real good. And she got the other person good that I was trying to get to use their series.
Yeah.
So it was
great.
It was a time.
Yeah.
I do have the recording if y'all want to see it. I haven't posted it or rewatched it because I've been like, yeah. But yeah,
watch it. It was good. I just personally felt like they didn't give her no time. Don't even feel that about other people, but I just always felt like it was like she got it there and her time was over. It was like, wait, I felt like other people had so much more time. Maybe,
some people took more time than they were given.
Okay,
and they just didn't play the music like they were supposed to.
Okay,
do.
I was like, it's still like she got on stage, set up her joke, and there was already flashing lights. Like, wait a minute, about to say something. Now let my girl finish.
I mean, and I did forget like half my set, or else I would have still kept it moving. But I was like, they're still laughing and loving this. Have it just end. And the lights were going off. It was real. But.
And like I said, it was real. Is like I said, your personality is amazing. So luckily, like I said, nothing else. Like, even when it goes, things go to shit. Like I said, she kept it together, y'all, for real. Yeah. I was like, it wasn't as bad. Like, the punchline didn't hit, but everybody, I feel like again, like everybody was so engaged and believed you. So it was just like, I think that was the most like engaged audience. And I will say that honestly, I think a major part of it, because what you did, like other anybody else was you included, because you. She included a audience member, but it was the way she included it. It wasn't just like, I'm including you like most do to talk about you or
make fun of you.
It was really like, she
it was like using them to make fun of me, more so than anything.
And so she brought the audience member in that way. It pulled us all in, and so that was really, really good. So we was always like, I think we always was like, like rooting for you, like we were in it. I think everybody was like, because like I said, it was completely different the way you included the audience members. So because it became like, oh my god, what's she gonna, what are you about to do? What are you about to, how are you about to engage with her? Versus again, like how most comedic comics do it. It is, if I'm bringing you in, it is to make fun or pick at or joke funny. You didn't do that.
And it was one of the group that like kept on getting picked on all night, and I was like, I'm so glad that you were the one that volunteered, because y'all need a fucking break from this. Like, it was their first comedy show ever, and they just got like slammed the whole night.
Which is what happens too when you make the when you decide to sit directly in the front.
If you sit front row center, like, it's gonna happen
every time. Like, they're gonna look. So that's why I was good when I was like, direct in the back.
I know. I didn't even see Q. I literally looked for him because he texted me and was like, I'm walking there, and then I didn't hear from him. I didn't see him walk in, and I was just like panicking. I had a whole bit planned about it, but then I couldn't find him. So then I was like, I don't know, maybe he is gone. Who knows? Like, what happened to him? And
nice little spot in the back. And they had the PBRs moving, and I was feeling great back there.
This was my first time doing it when I'm fully sober. Like, really? I've done sober sets, but I've still had like a beer or two. It's my first completely fucking dry as my skin.
That's hilarious. But good times. So soon, if she shares that, tune in, follow her pages. If you're not following us on our other social media platforms, do so. So watch out for when she posts it, or when she posts other comic specials, because I know there's gonna be more and more opportunities. And it was really dope to see. It was really dope to be there and to experience, and so you kind of get into your element, try to do your thing, and so looking forward to more. I look forward to more. Like, I really am. Like,
thank you for
really
coming.
Excited. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun. I think I might hold off on posting until I get to finish the bit with the technology working, because I want to do it some other way and do it the way that I planned, and be able to post that. And then post, like, this is what happened the first time.
How it started, how it's going. But I think that's all part of it, especially because, I mean, instead of, comedy is difficult, especially because, again, I mean, you gotta, the thing is, like, okay, I gotta get that laugh. And then, of course, as an audience member, it's like, we want to laugh, So
there's one goal. Everyone's aware of it. And everyone's aware if you're meeting that goal or not.
And that's so true, because even the people that did well, the people that tanked a little, the people that, it didn't go across as well as they thought, but it was good because, again, those opportunities allow people to, to do what they were there to do. If it was the first time, just to try it out, to work on new material, to figure out, some people was in there saying, this is a joke in progress, and then it didn't.
And everyone bombs, even like professional comedians. That's what you have to do with your material, is write it, try it, and see what happens, and adjust it as you go along. So.
And so the process of it is really, really dope. And like, so for you to kind of step out in that way and being that vulnerable and all those kind of things, is like, it's definitely admirable, because it's different. Because instead of comedy is different. Like, no matter how much you've performed before in different roles, or in case like stand-up comedy is difficult. Like, you know what I mean?
It's the scariest kind of performing I've ever done in my life. And I literally did like a 50-minute one-woman show before. And that was nothing compared to even just a few minutes of stand-up comedy. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think because I think that pressure is definitely there. Like I said, I mean, that's what.
And everyone knows. Like, there were times when during that show that I did the 50-minute one, there was one night where I messed up on my line, skipped ahead, had to figure it out and go backwards, but none of the audience knew that. Right. They didn't know the show. Right. They didn't know what I had planned, and I was able to recover because there wasn't that, like, it'd be different if we were in a scene, like a script reading class, and everybody had read it, then it'd be obvious. Right. But there was only one person that knew, and that was my professor. Well, I guess 3, because my crew and my professor, and that was it. But everybody else was just with me, so it was just completely different. Than it's so different. It's so different.
Yeah,
like
because I mean, it's so true. I always thought about it in that way, but not necessarily. It's not saying that it's something that I can't do, but it's definitely something that it's like. It'd be kind of difficult for me. I say that challenging, for say the least, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I do think I'm funny and I have my funny one-liners, but to get to be able to carry a whole show, all eyes looking at me, ready to laugh and or ready to boo. You know what I mean? Like,
and I think it's more so even the process of writing the joke that's like some of the hardest before you even get up there. Yeah. Because sometimes you gotta like say it out loud to yourself, and then you're overthinking, like, is this funny or not?
It's best because people do have different kinds of humor. Yeah. Like I personally do kind of like dark humor, but I could tell that with a lot of people who did a dark humor, did dark humor jokes, didn't get it. I feel like the crowd wasn't majority a lot of dark humor crowd, so like you could tell that,
and they weren't into the sex as much either.
Yeah.
So my set was actually perfect because it was actually fucking clean.
Yeah, it was.
And like not clean like good and polished, like clean like I invited my mom for once.
Yeah.
So I wasn't saying the usual stuff that I was saying, and that actually was the perfect night for that. Yeah. So once I saw the reactions to all that stuff, I was like, wow, I'm glad that I decided to. And this was before I even went up. Like, I'm glad I decided on the material. That
and granted, those kind of things are harder because you're doing kind of like a amateur kind of open mic kind of a idea versus so
but there were some professionals there too. But
I mean, like, as far as just the capacity of that venue, you don't know what crowd you're getting versus over time and stuff like that. Of course, you're going to cater.
And there were a lot of hands that it was their first comedy show.
Yeah, because it was my first comedy show.
That was what?
Well, it was my first. It was my first amateur comedy show.
Okay, well, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, I've been to, but it felt different.
But it is very different.
It did feel the feeling did feel different compared to because I've been to like Cat Williams show and stuff like that, which was really great and really funny. But I knew these people was going to be funny. I knew everybody on the list. Of course, with Cat Williams, he already has material he's already done, so I already know his style of comedy. This was literally not know. I mean, outside of you, not knowing who was going to be there, who's going to be funny, what's their material, and so it was really great though. Like it really was a good time, and it is something that I definitely want to do more of in that capacity because it was definitely more. Like big comedy shows that you go to and you get tickets and you dress up and stuff. That was just really like it's a Monday night, Tuesday night. Let's just go to the comedy show. And I like that. Like it was a really good opportunity to kind of get away, like I said, get some laughs in, get a drink, and I was like, this is something I can add to my list of things. What you doing, Q? I'm just at a comedy show, just because
it's affordable too, which is nice.
Yeah, and they do have a lot here. So for people who live here, who want to travel here,
a lot of different places.
They do have a lot of different places.
I'm trying to go to a different venue soon, but I just haven't signed up, and I know how to sign up with this one, so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, so it's definitely something to see, check out, and do. And again, for people who might not be here, if you've never been to a comedy show and or you have some in your hometowns, man, go for sure.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
And this is another segment of us just talking random shit.
Right, because that's
not the subject of the video
at all. Y'all. They don't even know. This is not what this episode is about. Not even close.
Has nothing to do with anything we said. There's no bridge that we can make.
Other than today's episode. So,
technology has helped us save paper. And today we're going to be talking about the environment. But for real, if you haven't noticed, if you're on YouTube, you probably noticed. If you're not on YouTube, then you probably haven't noticed, unless you heard some crinkling. But we have a box of what looks to be trash next to us, but it is not trash.
Not just your ordinary trash.
Well, some of it's trash, and we'll tell you why. Because we are celebrating Earth Day. Yes. It is Earth Day today when this episode comes out. And, yeah, we thought that we'd do an episode about, like, teaching you how to recycle. We're going to talk a little bit about history of Earth Day, just a smidge. We're going to talk about how recycling has changed that industry, and then also give you resources on where to take some of your recycling if it's like items that aren't commonly found in your little recycling trash can that hopefully your city or town takes from you every week. That would be amazing. Not everybody has that, but we're gonna teach you some things.
Yes. I'm excited about it all because I don't know everything about recycling or enough. So this is definitely gonna be informative for me. So I'm really excited because I'm always like, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm always like, I love hearing about or new ways or things I don't know. Because overall, this is a serious topic. It's very important. Ultimately, the goals of recycling, is to definitely help with our planet, help with resources, and those kind of things. I mean, I think we all can attest in our generation where we can really see the effects more so than past generations, of course, of what happens when these things aren't done and aren't handled. And if we continue to play into that role, then we're just going to continue to kind of like add on to really and realistically the destruction of our planet.
Really?
Literally.
And I blame the plastic industry for the majority of all of it. I'm gonna get into the crinkly bits first, just so I can move this stuff out of the way and not have to worry about the sound throughout. So we'll have a little ASMR. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear that. But just so you know, this is an amazing thing that Amazon started to do. They don't do it as much as they should, but they do it sometimes. So they have paper bags that they send their products in. Now, what you have to know, I already ripped out the one with my address because you sneaky sneaks can't know. But what you have to do is take off the stickers. But then once you take off the stickers, then these can be recycled just like paper. There's some paper bags that can be recycled like a box, but then in the corner where you see the recycling, it'll tell you whether it needs to be recycled like paper or like a box. And thankfully, paper or a box can actually go in your like single recycling can that you hopefully have in your town. If not, then you can always go to a recycling center and bring it there. But with the plastic Amazon ones, they still do take them, but you have to go to a store drop-off. But thankfully, a lot of store drop-offs are like in grocery stores now. They're in CVS, so you can load them all up. Make sure you take off your stickers, because ain't nobody on these streets need to know where you live.
Right.
And also, I don't think it like won't be recycled then, but also for your protection. Yeah, so you can take it there, but then unfortunately things like this can't be recycled. It's just impossible. So the best thing about like about things that can't be recycled is that, first of all, let's reduce it, let's reuse it, let's recycle, and it goes in that order because reducing is the number one thing we should be doing. We should be reducing how much we're taking in, but then you can reuse it. So I like to use things like this for, if you pack up glass, if you have like trophies that you don't have out but you want to pack away, or you're moving and need to put some photos in something or something like that where you're like using it, pack up your Christmas decorations in it, or whatever holiday, anything like glass or anything like that would be really great for it because it does have the little bubblies. Mm-hmm. What are these called? I can't remember.
I don't know, but
I don't know if you can hear them.
I like to pop them.
Did you like that? Let us know.
Right.
I do like to pop them. So besides reusing this to just fucking pop it, right. You can also do the same things like I mentioned with this one. But unfortunately, this cannot be recycled either. Sometimes with something like this can be recycled if you see the recycling symbol on it and the store takes it back. But unfortunately, a lot of these don't get recycled, and that's why if you can go to the store versus buying online, then definitely do that. But if you buy online, make sure to follow these tips so we can help save our planet. Because, as far as we know, our planet is the only planet in our solar system that has life on it. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't life on another planet earlier and they just fucked it up and now there's no life. Like, that very much could happen to the Earth, and it might not happen in our generation, but like, why would we take something, use it, abuse it, and leave it in worse condition than we found it? Like, right. You just don't do that with anything.
Right. It's so crazy. I was literally having that same conversation with one of my writers and stuff today about that same statement. Like, we have to do better with, for sure, like, preserving our planet and our resources. Again, not just for us. And that was the whole thing, we was mentioning, was that, like, generations before us was doing things not really caring about the effects of how it would affect us today. And so we don't want to be passing on that kind of thing where we're not thinking about how, and even we might not see it or live through it, of course, 100 years from now, but we should still be conscious and cognizant about the planet we want to leave 100 years from now. That there is a planet to even leave 100 years from now. Especially where we're at now, because a lot of the effects of it is not just like hearsay, but we're really seeing it and living it, and it's already bad. We all can attest that summers are hot now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not even just summers, because now it's almost like year round is just hot. Certain places that used to be cold, not being cold at all. Those kind of things.
And or extreme weather, like in weird times of the year, or just extreme weather in general that's just increased. And also, I'm going to get into it a little bit more later, but like, cancer has increased a lot throughout even our lifetime. So a lot of that really does have to do with the plastic industry, and it also has to do with what they're letting get into our fucking food. Right. And then we're constantly smelling and breathing in all these toxins all the time that we're emitting from our cars, from factories, from all these different places, and the powers that be aren't going to talk about it, so we have to. Because they're going to try to do everything they can to hide it, because that's going to break their bank.
Exactly.
So
it's where it comes down to, and what it comes down to. Right.
Okay, so this is another thing that can be recycled, but you have to do a little extra work. So you do have to deflate it. I'm not going to pop it because I think that would hurt your ears. That isn't full ASMR. I'll give you a little crinkly. But yeah, and then you can drop it off at the store. Same with this one. Just because it has a recycling symbol on it does not mean it can be recycled, especially in your like recycling bin that the city takes. I'm gonna get into that, but that's a whole purposeful lie to try to tell us that we are able to do more than we're actually able to do.
Yeah.
So, but like all these things that you can do are really important because at least it's something. At least we're making some effort towards change and helping our planet. Yeah. There's more of the bullshit that you gotta take to the store. These things can't be recycled at all. You can use these, again, they're like little foam, but you can use these at, like the same way that you can pack the ornaments and stuff and try to use it somewhere in something. I don't know, step on it and like it probably makes your feet feel good. Then things like plastic bags, they cannot be, like this one can't be recycled at all, unless David's Bridal would take it back, which I don't think they would. But like I know Publix, their bags can be recycled at Publix. Okay. So you can take the bags back to Publix and they'll recycle them even if they're ripped or anything. They just can't be dirty. And that's really amazing. At least there's some kind of steps. But my biggest advice is go to Aldi. I will always be an Aldi stan. And always. Aldi, you take in your own totes, you take in your own bags. And if you don't take in your bags, then they have paper, which you can recycle bags to buy for like 5 cents. Or they have reusable ones that you can end up bringing back to the store. Like, or the trick is you take a box off their shelf that's empty and put your stuff in it, and then you just break down the box and recycle it.
Which is why my go-to, I always go for the boxes.
Yeah.
Especially because they'll...
If I don't bring my bag, I go for the box.
They don't, especially if they just put stuff on shelves or whatever. A lot of them actually have like a kind of bin of boxes and stuff. And Costco stuff does the same thing too. They have like a bin of boxes always like to the side so where people can, definitely reuse. Like I said, if you can't do the reduce, definitely reuse. And I think that's beautiful to be able to reuse those things from them in that same way. You can pack your stuff in it and then boom, you either have a box now you can reuse back at home or again break down and then and then take it to the recycle. Yeah, I feel like it's a perfect example of a chain. You're right, because all these do got it. For sure.
Aldi is it, and you're gonna save so much money by shopping there anyways.
And I definitely say for sure, like even if you don't shop at Aldi's or a lot of these places that have bags, like you still can go and get them and then use them for other places, because I do think like using those reusable bags is like one of the best things to do, because then you cut a lot of extra waste. Bags and waste that you have, and of course waste that the store has to continue to because again if they have a lot of bags left and they're not ordering extra bags type of thing, or so you keep the production of it down as well by doing that. So definitely go to like some of your local shops that may have bags, even if you don't shop there. Buy some of those reusable bags, and you can still reuse those at you don't have to only use them at the store that they're from. And I do that all the time. Like I got my little
they're strong.
Yeah, my little Publix bags, and I use those everywhere, wherever I'm shopping. What I mean? So definitely. Yeah,
and like there are a lot of places.
And they're strong. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of places in Europe that have banned plastic bags, which I think is really cool. I wish we would do here, but I'll get into why they're not gonna do that. Except if we give them a lot of pushback, we have to be the change. Yeah. I don't remember what I thought after that, because then I just started thinking about all the facts I'm going to share that make me mad. Yeah. Okay, well, let me get into this. So, I'm almost done with this portion. Then, anything like this tissue paper, any paper, for the most part, you can recycle. Now, if it's a napkin, you've used it. If it's a paper plate, you've used it. If it's dirty, you can't. You cannot recycle it. Please do not try to recycle it. When in doubt, honestly, throw it in the trash. If you have looked through all the resources and you can't find a clear answer of whether to recycle it or not, throw it in the trash. Because if there is just a little bit of contamination in the bins that they have, they will end up throwing away the entire container and just sending it off to the landfill. Oh, wow. So you gotta rinse out your peanut butter jars. You gotta rinse out your cans. You gotta rinse out your soup containers. You gotta rinse it all out, because they will not accept it. And also, the only plastics that are recycled, unless you live in a special area that you can take the other ones, but probably not, are 1 and 2. So 3 through 7 you can't do shit with. So don't just trust the recycling sign, because unfortunately that's a whole lie. But just to note, on the paper, don't recycle like color paper, because a lot of times you can't actually recycle that because it'll have a certain film on it. And then again, like I said, if there's just even a small amount of things that they have to search through, they'll be like, this isn't worth the time and effort, because it's all about money. So they don't want to waste their time and effort or resources going through. So even when you send off recycling, don't put it in a plastic bag. Like, it needs to be loose, because otherwise they won't accept it either. And then they'll throw away the whole thing.
Wow. And that's good things to note that a lot of people may not know who want to recycle. I mean, again, there have been times where, you know, you go to places at work or public places that have the multiple different bins for you to recycle. And yet you're not thinking about it. So like you said, the peanut butter jar, you might see those different ones. Oh, it's plastic. Boom, just throw it in, not knowing like, oh, shit, I didn't wash it out, or even to know to wash it out, because you know, and because again, I didn't know. Again, like you telling me, you let me know that is something that you do have to wash it. I didn't even know. I'm thinking, you know, something I know a lot of people like me who feel like they are doing their part and helping, and then kind of find out. I mean, you know, not that you're not, but
the whole bin is going to the landfill now. So, you know, like, it's like, the intent is great, but unfortunately they don't teach us these things. So it is something you have to either listen to things like this or look up on your own. It's really, like, sad how not user friendly it all is. But it is what it is. So we got to do with what we got right now. So, also, any of this cardboard you can recycle. Just a note on the cardboard, I will have to end up ripping off all of these. Sometimes I dig my nail in it and end up ripping off some of the cardboard, but at least, like, I'm recycling the majority of the cardboard. And then you have to remove all the tape. So, if you can see on the bottom, there's tape, and it's, like, the tape with all these, like, plastic fibers in it, which, why would they do that? But you have to rip all of that out, and then you have to fold it. You have to, like, I'd have to rip off this bottom and flatten it. Or else that's another reason why they would throw it out and end up throwing out whatever's sitting there with it. So
it's so crazy for that, like, and I feel like maybe again reasons to really throw it out more than even recycle. Okay, we can recycle some, great. No.
Yeah, and I hope this doesn't discourage anyone. I hope it's just, like, a good warning for how particular it is, and that, like, it sounds alarming, the amount of changes that you have to make, but I've made these changes over the course of years, and it feels really good now that I know for sure that, like, what I am putting out there is being taken care of. And at least I'm, like, doing something towards it. And honestly, like, if I work this hard and something ends up still going to a landfill, at least I fucking tried, man. At least I tried to make some kind of difference in the world that we live in. Because just think about it this way. Think about how much trash you produce as a single individual. How much goes in the trash can, how much trash you take out every week. And then think about the fact that there are over 7 billion people on this planet. Like, I can't even imagine. There were, like, millions of tons of trash. So, millions of thousands of pounds in the ocean right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, something needs to be done. But, yeah, so when they first started recycling, I'll take you back in some of the history. Now we're done with the how-to portion. But, they started out with numbers on the bottom, like, they didn't start out with numbers on the bottom. They said only milk jugs and soda cans could be recycled. Very simple.
Right.
And then they started with the numbers on the bottom, but they made it seem like everything can be recycled because people were starting to catch on to how bad plastic is. If you don't know, chemically, plastic comes from oil and gas. And and it comes from those raw materials, and it's like some kind of chemical compound, and depending on how you put it together, it becomes different forms of plastic. Now there are like, I think thousands, but definitely hundreds of different types of plastic, but there weren't that many in the beginning, and it all ranges, and only a small portion of those types of plastic can be recycled. And they knew that. So people were catching on to that, and they were getting upset. And so then they were like, okay, what do we do about this? Oh, okay, let's beat this by advertising. So then in the 70s, in like 73 or so, also a negative shout out to DuPont, because y'all are responsible for a lot of this, and it ain't alleged because I got the receipts, so and y'all check them out for yourself, and they hid a lot of the receipts. Like, there was a whole committee for plastic. It was like the Society of the Plastic Industry, which really made me think of Mean Girls, because I was like, the Society of the Plastics. That's so funny. But they were a lobby for big oil and gas companies. And they took back some of the documents that were like proving how bad plastic is, and that essentially there's no way to recycle it all. And that there's only less than 10% of the plastic made is actually recycled and through that process. I've heard 6%, I've heard 8%, but every single number I found is less than 10%.
Wow. That can be recycled. Oh, that is recycled?
That is recycled.
Oh, wow.
And I think like around 20 to 30% is like sent through the recycling process, but only that small amount can be recycled and is recycled. But yeah, so in 1973, they started creating an environmental movement. So they created commercials. They spent millions of dollars on advertisements. They brought recycling programs to schools and had competitions and started like every commercial. And then also, this wasn't like completely related. This actually came from a good cause, but it was definitely great ammo for this whole movement at the same time, because in 1973 there was a person that started that was a different part. Hold on. So then Syracuse University in 1973 had boxes of reports saying that it is nearly impossible to recycle and costly and infeasible, and plastic degrades every time you try to reuse it. So even when you recycle your plastic, it usually gets one last life. Now, it usually gets turned into textiles or clothes or something, so at least it's going to be something that gets a lot of use, and that's amazing. But it usually only gets one life. It doesn't get turned into a water bottle again. It can't.
Right.
It physically can't. So all of our water bottles come from new oil and gas. So, like, imagine how much oil and gas we're using, and these industries, I bet, want to continue this now more than ever with electric cars coming out.
Right. So what about, I mean, the ones that, cause I have like seen plastics and stuff that's like 100% used, recycle, from reused old bottles or you know what I mean? Like,
they're, from everything I found, that is essentially impossible chemically. Yeah. So I don't know how they're saying that, unless
they're really like reusing
maybe PVC they were used and to break down into other plastics because it breaks down every time. And there are some machines out there that can do more, but they're too costly.
Right.
So definitely check out Planet Money's episodes. That's where I got a lot of this information. And they can explain it better than me, and they shout out all the receipts, and have people that were on those boards like interviewing with them.
Oh, nice.
About it, and like so even Larry Thomas, for example, he talked about how it was cheaper and easier for new plastic. He talked about how he personally always disagreed with what was happening, and wrote to the bigwigs that plastic is deteriorating at an alarming rate. But then that was when the recycling media thing was born, and he was just, especially for that time, you just did what your boss told you to do.
Right.
And so he just went along with what he was told, even though he felt like it was wrong. And that's why I'm really thankful for this younger generation, too. Like, even younger than our generation, because I feel like they don't accept that anymore. And it's really beautiful to see that, like, wrong is wrong, and we're not going to just stick our heads down and be cool with it.
Right.
So.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle.
Yes. Yes.
But I always sing these little songs in my head, but I rarely let them out. And sometimes when I listen back to the podcast, I'll be like singing the song that I was thinking of while we were doing it, not letting it out. But so a tidbit about Earth Day history. So in 1969, there was an explosion with 3 million gallons of crude oil into the Pacific in Cali. And Gaylord Nelson, who was a politician in Wisconsin, proposed a nationwide teach-in at different universities. Started at sunrise on April 22nd, 1970, which is today, Earth Day. So the ceremony was actually led by indigenous tribes. 10% of the American population participated, which is actually really amazing for a starting event for that many people. So 20 million Americans took part in Earth Day. And that was in 1970. And then in 1973, the Clean Air Act and Endangered Species Act, and they created the Environmental Protection Agency all in 1973. A lot of that was pushed by Earth Day, and that's a lot of the like backstory to why in 1973 they were like, oh shit, we gotta do something. People are like catching on.
Right.
And they said it was the biggest non-religious event in the world.
Oh wow, love that.
Yeah. So. And there are several studies that also link cancer to us taking in plastics. They say we like ingest like a credit card's worth of plastic every year.
Really?
So you got like a whole fucking ATM inside of you. No thank you. Right. I don't want that. And yeah, there are a lot of different studies based on what's in it. Definitely check it out for yourself. I will butcher the studies if I say all that stuff. And also I know we're running out of time. So I do want to point out a couple things before we go. So with your boxes, just so you know, with your pizza boxes, those cannot be recycled if they're the ones with grease on it. If it has any grease, if it has any food residue, you cannot recycle it. But a lot of those boxes that do have that food on it can be composted. The one thing that's a big thing in composting you need to know is that you can't compost meat and bones. Like it just doesn't deteriorate at the same rate as everything else, so it'll slow down the process of like turning it all into soil and stuff. But it can be composted. But your other boxes, as long as you break them down and they're clean, then you can recycle them. Like Like, you had some pizza tonight, but it wasn't a pizza box from a pizza place, so I was able to break it down and recycle it.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah.
And he also almost threw away his pizza in my recycling container. I like kind of screamed a little bit. I was like, "Don't do that!" He was like, "What?" He said, "Oh, I thought this was a trash can."
Pay attention. We got two. I saw trash sticking out of one. You just
it was recycling trash.
Yeah, see now. Had I been a more advocate of recycling, I wouldn't have did it anyway because I would have asked, "Is this your recycling?" So, that's what I got.
Have to put a fucking sign on it.
Sign on it. Yeah. For sure. Definitely do that.
But also, other ways you can recycle, I do want to give some resources. So, sorry anybody not in Atlanta. I did look up specific to Atlanta. But there is several different places you can go to. One of them is textile recycling services in Atlanta. Their number is 817-946-5655. So if you don't know what textile is, it's your clothing and other textiles like a blanket. And stuff. So, like, you rip your pants, you can't figure, it's, like, not in the seam, it's not looking cute, you're like, oh, I better throw this away because I can't donate it. Take it to a place like this, because then they can reuse it, and then we're not creating as much waste, and that's amazing. There's also, I have a few other resources. There's some places where, so you can't recycle styrofoam in regular recycling, but there are places that you can do it. There's a place in Athens that you can do it. It's called Charm. There's one in Atlanta as well. There's several places where you can recycle cans and like electronics and a lot of different things for cash. So, if you don't want to do it for the environment, do it for your wallet, okay?
Right, for sure. Absolutely.
And then, just to name a few places, there's Treasured Trash, ABC Recycling, Peachtree, Junk Removal, which the junk removal sounds not like recycling, but that's what they put on the list.
Right.
There's Junk Luggers of North Atlanta. There's a bunch of different places. So there's Center for Hard to Recycle Materials. A lot of different places. I know that there's, at least in Cartersville, there's a Recycle for Cash, and they had like TVs and cans. I got my $2 from my cans.
Yeah, nice.
And kept it moving.
Yeah.
They don't do everything, but they recycle a lot of things. So definitely check them out. But all else fails, just take it to a place that accepts it so you can get it out of your house quickly and participate in helping the earth because she needs it.
She needs it. She's been crying out for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's definitely time that we do better in listening for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like you said before, it all comes down to us, like. And I think, this is a statement we say so much in a lot of our episodes, is that it really do come down to, like, us as the people. And a lot of times it's so easy to kind of give our power to powers that be in hopes that, they'll fix it, It's so crazy because I think about, like, Mike Jackson and Ursula, he was like, they said he go fix it. He's like, they who? That's what he's,
right.
he's like, they, it starts with us. And that's so true. Mm-hmm. I actually want to say that was in his song, Earth Song, actually, which is one of my favorite songs. As far as like a planet anthem.
Yeah. They've been saying for decades that they were going to be able to recycle all plastic by a certain date, and it keeps on getting extended, and the science has proven that it's just not feasible, and they're not going to. I'm sure there's a machine somewhere that would do it, but it's going to be way too expensive when they could get like virgin oil and gas and make it for way cheaper. They're gonna choose what helps their bank, right. Like unless we stand up to them. So if even if you didn't like this episode or you I don't know, whatever you think about this episode, please share it. Please share the ideas of this episode. Please share any article you find. Share any video you find. Like, this goes way beyond us and our show. It's not about that. I'm not trying to get you to share it for us. Like, I mean, that'd be nice too, but that's not why. Like, I truly think, like, the power is in the masses. As long as the masses show up and take back the power, and we have all this technology at our disposal to make change now. And so it might not feel like you're doing anything talking about it, but the more you talk about it, things get shared, and the powers that be are forced to look in the mirror, then we can actually make a change.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way we can do it, because I mean, this thing isn't like, it's not slowing up, and I think we all realize that it's not slowing up. I mean, you know, we live in a consumer-based society, so our need for our need and our want for things, you know, is only as big as, of course, their need to make things, you know. And so, you know, we have to also play our parts too in being, you know, more frugal in some places where we can. Or, like, so the biggest thing is, like, if you can't you know, get rid of it, recycle it, so to speak, is to find creative ways to reuse things, so we're not having to you know, just consume the same things, you know, over and over and over, adding to the problem, you know, because I mean, you know, we point those fingers at powers to be, but we're equally to, you know, to blame for the demise of the planet too, because of our need and want to always need and want. So you know. Yeah,
and if you have any ideas, so I've been thinking a lot lately, and there's some ideas I have, but I'm trying to make it feasible for myself to follow through with this financially, but I have been trying to think of, like, art or different ways I can use things to try to make something new from things that are, like, have the recycling symbol but can't be recycled.
Right.
Also, glass actually is... It's unfortunate that a lot of, like, single recycling cans, like, they don't take glass, because glass is actually the cheapest and easiest thing to recycle, and they can just disinfect a glass and take it back out. And so that's fully recycled, that's actually true, because they can either reuse the bottle and just clean it, or they can melt it down and reform it and make new glass. And so, but if you don't want to do that, there's a lot of, like, lamps you can create with glass. You can put it is like a slow feeder for your plants. You can do a lot of different things with that too. So get creative. Let us know what you come up with, because I would love to be able to do more. And if you come up with any, like, art ideas or anything you can make, so we're making a different use of it. Because, also, I would kick myself if I forgot this. With water bottles, you have to have the cap on it or it gets thrown away. Oh, really? Yeah. If you separate the cap from the bottle, it gets thrown away, because the machine separates the bottle from the cap in the machine. Like, the pressure system. I don't know how exactly they do it, but that's how they do it. And that's why they say replace the cap and recycle. If you look on the little sticker, it's because literally the whole bottle will get thrown away, and possibly the whole batch of recycling stuff if there's too many of them, if you don't have the cap on there. So that's a very very good thing to know.
Yeah, very good thing to know.
And I always take off the wrapper or whatever on all of my stuff, because it's very hard to find information on whether that can be recycled or not, and I really don't want to take the chance. So, and then I've heard that the little wrap thing around like, you break it from the cap. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I've heard that can't be recycled, but I've researched, and it's so hard to find information on this, and I feel like that is very purposeful with how much information is out, or like, taken away from libraries on the recycling, because Syracuse also got a bunch of these boxes of information exposing a lot of things, because someone's husband that worked in this industry died, and the wife found the boxes and gave it to them. gave it to the university.
Oh, wow.
So, like, people hide these things for all of their lives. And thankfully, we got some whistleblowers out here.
For real.
So.
Keep blowing them, y'all. Because, I mean, like I said, if you don't believe it, like I said, just look out your window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go look
they
at your
want
window.
you to not believe it. That's all purposeful as well. It's all.
Go look at pictures of Earth from 50 years to now and look at the decrease in vegetation, which is wild. About to say, have you ever seen planets like they took a picture of the planet like 50 years, like it was so much greener, like you could tell like and it's so true because even places like Georgia, here in Atlanta, I'm sure about other places where you see the constant building, and that's the thing that be getting me is a lot of the clearing of land for buildings and and I'm seeing and the amount of like animals and stuff, like especially like in the South, we have a lot of deer, but you see so many deers like where their homes have been completely destroyed, so you see them in like streets and in ruined neighborhoods and all this stuff because they literally have no place, literally cutting down the homes, football fields of places just to build a shopping center or another. That
half the time gets abandoned later and is just unused space.
Right,
but they also take down trees to grow the trees that they use for paper. So they'll like clear land of trees to plant the specific. I can't remember what they're called, but the specific trees for that you use to make paper.
Wow, that's crazy.
Also, I wanted to shout out this brand. So my shirt is from a company called Save Lands. And unfortunately, as I was looking up things for this podcast, I found out they're no longer with us. But at least I got to do something while they were still here. Because every item that you bought from them, they planted 12 trees.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So I got I think 4 items, and they worked with, I think it's trees.org or something like that, trees something.org if it's not trees.org, but I don't know what specifically happened. Their page, I mean, I think it was just majority COVID because it was in 2022. They posted on Facebook, on their Facebook page, and was like, everything's too expensive, we can't survive anymore, and unfortunately we have to close our doors. But I think that's such an incredible thing that they did that for even as long as they did, because one item is 12 trees. That's a lot of trees. That's truly the only, I mean, their stuff is cute, but that's the only reason I bought, because I was like, okay, I'm making something happen. I really love the sayings on there, because my Be a Good Human shirt that I've worn on here is from them. This is Leave the World a Little Bit Better Than You Found It. And they just had a lot of inspiring and pretty stuff, and I hope that someone sees this and sends it to them and they come back. Right. But definitely look online and see what, I know that there has to be companies like that out there.
Yes.
So look and see what you can find, because any way we can make any kind of change is positive and should be celebrated.
Absolutely, because we only get one Earth. What I mean? This is all we get. And I know sometimes we get to a point we get kind of spoiled, and we get we think that we get it again, or infinite supply of resources, but that's not the case when it comes down to one planet. You know what I mean? And once we've burnt that bridge, that's the biggest thing about all this stuff. Once we get to a point where we're too far gone, I mean, that's really going to be it, folks. It's going to be
hell on earth for real.
Way too late. It's going to be way too late. Once we, continue to make that imprint on the atmosphere and the ozone there, we're not going to be able to reverse those things. No matter how smart we think we are, no matter how much technology advanced we think we are, those things are going to be, or it's going to come at a whole lot of greater price, whether that's lives, whether that's other resources, whether that's even more money to try to fix something that like, so you're trying to save money over here, but you know,
while spending millions
yeah.
to actively support a business that you know is hurting the earth and the people on it.
It's crazy. It's backwards, man. It's so crazy. Like, and I do think we do need more, like, more push from everywhere for us onto government, for government on, you know, make
more compostable products.
You know, especially when it comes against, you know, what we can be doing. Like, if we can't feel like, okay, well, I don't know what to do, we have to start putting pressure and a lot more pressure on our local representatives. You know, that these are the issues of the people and this is what we want, so that they can at least start fighting, and even more so, like I say, put more funding into things that can help fix these things or reverse these things or diminish these things by far. Like I said, if there are machines that can, you know, take the plastic and do something with it to where it can help the economy, I feel like let's take those resources, let's take that money, and let's make it. Because in the end, it's going to be worth the investment to have than to not just to say, oh, well, today it's going to cost us a lot to make. Well, listen, 10, 20 years from now, it could cost us the whole planet. Yeah. You know? So let's...
Yeah. As much as science as we have, you never really know if it could happen a lot sooner than people think, because like all these different resources mixing together, you have a bunch of oil and gas everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that can only be controlled so much. It's not like a super controlled substance. You have to make it in a certain way. So who knows what could happen as this plastic breaks down.
Right. We don't know. And I hear that it takes a long time for plastic even to break down. If it does, for the ones that
can. But it breaks down like when people. It kills me when places put their water bottles outside in this heat because there is plastic now in that water.
Yeah.
Like you were drinking more plastic.
Yeah. So crazy.
Like it's already seeping in some, because there are different studies on like how much it breaks down depending on temperature, and it breaks down period into your water. But with higher temperatures, it definitely breaks down more. Yeah. So why are these gas stations putting water outside in this 90-degree weather? Like
outside. They do that too.
I know.
Days. That's literally what they put it. Weeks. That's what they put it outside. All weathers too.
It kills me.
All the weather, no matter what is going on, rain, shine, snow, that water out there. You're right.
And it's like right in the sun's path every time. What the hell? It's so weird. It makes no sense. I never buy from those stores that have them outside. I don't care what the weather is. I'd never do, because you don't know how long it's been there.
Oh, that's so smart. So true. I wonder what that made not thinking about it.
Yeah, my dad tries to buy from there. I went on a whole rant and made him go to a different store. Really? I already go on rants about him using so many water bottles, and I bought him a filter and everything, and so we trying out here. I try every single time I see him to help him be more earth conscious. So, he grew up in the time of like, plastic is great. Plastic is the perfect the thing to do, and like, the earth will be fine. Right. So I don't completely blame him, but we're trying to help.
Get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. But
it's so.
Tell your dad to recycle as well.
Yeah. Everybody.
Tell your mom. Tell your neighbor. Tell your grandma. Tell your dog. Yeah. Tell everybody.
It's important, you guys. Like I said, I mean, don't take it from us. Take it from us. Definitely do the research yourself.
Yeah.
If you think, hey, these guys are crazy and talking BS, definitely do the research for yourself. And really look into what happens if we don't do something about it, and I'm sure to make you want to do everything about it. Because I swear, like I said, 100 years from now, oh, poor Mother Earth. Poor Mother Earth, man. Look, she tired. Y'all can't tell? She tired.
And if you don't want to keep on ingesting credit cards worth of plastic, then say something to someone, start spreading the news, write to your politicians if you can. Find somebody that has a really skilled way of writing and get them to write something.
Yes.
If you know an attorney, definitely send them up. But if nothing else, just post on your social media and see the change happen around you, because someone will end up sharing it, and then that will share with another person. And I mean, it's called telephone for a reason. Everything's a chain reaction, and we have everything at our fingertips.
And I feel like, this is the election year, so just like, the rhetoric is always, hey, your voice count, and every single voice matters, even if you don't think it does. It's the same thing when it comes to recycle. Even if you feel like you're not doing anything or doing enough, or you're the only person in your friend group to recycle, it's like it matters,
Yeah.
It matters. Like every one person that does even a little bit can definitely save landfills from being filled with, because eventually, like I said, I mean, we already know, like, they've been burying trash forever to where maybe it's gonna get to the point where there's already no room for it. And the fact that we're doing this and we're just putting it back in the plant, even to just bury it, or if, like you said before, for it to be in the ocean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's a problem.
And with the different chemical compounds of different types of plastic, they can't mix together. So it's like, you would think, I always thought, like, why can't they just melt it all and get rid of it? Why can't they do that? It makes no sense. And then I did a lot of the research, and unfortunately, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's just insane that, like, these industries are purposely doing this, knowing all of this all along.
All along, yep. And then get you to get it, buy it, consume it.
Even more
become your problem, and in our generation, our time, we don't got to worry about it. So let the next generation deal with it. And that's we want to really set our future generations, our legacies up for success. Then we need to be the change today. We need to be the generation today that's going to change the course of the next 100 years. Yeah. And honestly, we have to be. We're going to have to be. Because we're the ones who going to breathe this in. We're the ones who's ingesting these plastics. We're the one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we got to do something, y'all. So, our cries for help once again. Episodes of cries for help, and
trust the power that you have within yourself, because you do have more than you think. And I hope that this inspired you and didn't just make you sad or anxious, Right. But thank you for joining us today. Happy Earth Day. Yes. Show the earth some love today. Do some day of play. Y'all saw the commercials growing up, and I think that was great.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Check out your local recycling places. For those places, like you said, if you got your cities and they do pick up your recycling, all those kind of things, and you are recycling, keep doing it. If not, and you don't use those outlets or whatever, do so. And then if your area doesn't have those outlets, definitely find places in your city that may, and of course it might be a little bit more work where you have to maybe go to the locations and actually drop off that stuff. But again, just know that your efforts for doing your part won't be in vain. Yeah, and find places that will recycle things that your city won't take either way. Right. Because it does make a huge difference. And definitely take your recycling, take your glass to a recycling if you don't reuse it, because that is the number one thing that can be easily and cheaply recycled. Yes. And some of your communities too. I mean, at that last one, like if your community or apartment complex or whatever doesn't have recycling, maybe again, those could be things that you could literally maybe go talk to the housing manager about. Hey, I saw we don't have XYZ. And then that may be something that they can do, or your jobs or workplaces. And it's because some of those things really don't take that much effort really to do. Like, it doesn't take a lot of effort to really go buy, a recycling trash can and then to use it, or to have multiple trash cans for specific things. And, those, it takes a few extra steps to do. But, I mean, it's not like, again, you got to, get your eyes taken out or, trade a kidney to do, you know what I mean? Yeah. But we might have to be trading kidneys if this continues. Right. For real though.
Yeah,
oh,
we're laughing, but it's
so true. Kidneys and eyes, the eyes too.
Yeah, for real. They're going to inject some plastic eyes in us.
Right. Hey, that might be a solution.
Yeah, recycle the plastic into my eyes. No, thank you.
That's so funny.
But yeah, we know this was a long episode. We appreciate y'all being here.
Yes,
thank you so much. And we hope you learned something and loved it. Yeah, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those things. You know the drill. And
that's all I got. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
okay. Love you. Bye.